With the release of the much anticipated video game sequel, Space Marine 2, from the Warhammer 40,000 universe, JoyToy have just announced action figures of Titus and his merry men in 1/18 scale, due for release later this year, to coincide with the video game's arrival. So what is Space Marine 2? Who are JoyToy? And why should you care?
Shut up and sit down.
Set in the distant future of the 41st millennium, Games Workshop's Warhammer 40k is a vast grimdark universe of which their extremely popular tabletop game is set. The first game, Space Marine, follows Captain Titus, who finds himself at the hands of Inquisitor Thrax by the time the credits roll, detained for heresy. In the sequel, geniusly named Space Marine 2, Titus finds his way back with his Ultramarine brothers, demoted to lieutenant and tasked with taking on a Xenos Tyrannid invasion. What happens next is for you to play, or just watch some videos on YouTube like I will. JoyToy is a Chinese company founded in 2015. Described as a science fiction mecha model toy brand, they've released action figures in 1/12 scale, 1/25, and most notably 1/18, and for the last few years have had a healthy relationship with Games Workshop, releasing highly articulated and detailed action figures from Warhammer 40k, Horus Heresy, and now Space Marine 2. Hey you scallywags, I'm knee deep in the middle of working on a 1/18 toy news vid, which is already looking to be a massive one. So I thought instead of adding to what I'm already doing, why not break down this latest announcement separately, so I'm not adding too much to that other video. Also, it'll be a good way for us to go through this brand new buck we're getting, which I'm very excited about. But also, this will coincide with the video game release. JoyToy are releasing 3 of the main playable characters of Space Marine 2, each including a wealth of accessories. Firstly, there's of course the main man, the protagonist, Lieutenant Titus, poster boy, Sergeant Gadriel, and brother Chiron or Chiron. Something that's an ongoing hot topic with JoyToy's Warhammer figures is scale and size. But to me, what's equally important are the proportions of these figures. Now, with Space Marines being giant-sized humans, they're always going to look a bit different to other humanoid figures. But with previous releases being based off GW's miniatures, the proportions were always a bit questionable. Over time, JoyToy have been tweaking their recipe, improving articulation, size, and proportions. This upcoming release seems to be the closest to quote-unquote realistic Space Marines. Where once I laughed at some art depicting Space Marines with large bodies and small heads, which, funnily enough, is the opposite of what the minis portrayed, I really felt the altered beast muscle man look would work well in action figure form, as long as JoyToy didn't exaggerate things too much. The proportions of the game model look perfect to translate in action figure form. And to test this out, I'm going to very crudely draw over some images to show where potential human limbs would exist, which I'll also do for the new model and a couple of older ones. So just using the standard model of the Intercessor here from the game, just gonna draw around here, so that's where like the human head would go, slightly smaller, not perfect, sort of traps there, shoulder, and then that bit there, the arm, the bicep, this chest be around there, collarbone, bit of the chest, and just round that out for a shoulder on this side, there for his body, waist bit there. There's abs. 4-pack, massive 4-pack. And then let's get his arms here. Same for this side. Just to kind of get an idea of the size of his body underneath that suit, and if the proportions all kind of work. If he wasn't wearing this badass space marine suit. And the leg in there. Crotch. And in there too. So yeah, looking like one of the altered beast muscle men. The huge body, it was just still really proportioned for the most part, and then that smallish head. So yeah, there, I like the look of that, and the proportions for this definitely would work well in action figure form. Let's try out the next. So here is the Titus figure. So looking good. The neck is around about there, and then gets traps there. Bring his shoulder around. Bicep. Chest. There. Same with this side. That around. Some muscles. Forearm. Again, I'm not like a you know, like pro anatomy or anything like that. Just to give an idea of where the human limbs would go in this action figure. And so far, it's looking quite good, because even though the torso is a bit smaller than the video game version, still looking like it would be okay. But let's complete it and see. This crotch is maybe about there, and then yeah, I think the belt bit is a bit higher on the action figure than it is in the game model. Otherwise, he's actually looking alright. This leg here. There we go. There. So yeah, proportions actually still work out on this action figure. So just as I had expected from initial thoughts and looks at this thing. So next up, we'll try this jump pack intercessor. So this guy is not actually old, he's a fairly new release. The head there is not the greatest, but there you go. And he's kind of, you know, I think it's from above a bit, so it's not exactly going to be the same. So this is not going to work out like for like, but you'll see the difference with chest, particularly with the lower torso area. The arms are actually thinner too from the looks of things. Shovel will go over there. Some there. Be generous and give him more of a forearm there. And then the body comes all the way into there. A waist so tiny. That's my main gripe with this version. Look at that. And as you can see with the leg here, so you could see exposed and how it works. Ugh. Not great. Let me just bring that out more. Even with that, utilizing all that. See, already he's looking a bit funky. waist really does it. Even with the new intercessors they've released, increased the height with the legs, but the waist is still small. And look at that. Yep. Look at that. Abs there. So yeah, he really doesn't look that great. It looks too exaggerated because of this area, torso, and that's the main problem with these older ones. Even though this is fairly new. Right, let's do one last figure. This is not Titus, who's going to be a bit smaller. So with this guy, he was actually released around about the time when Space Marine 2 was announced, I believe, from what I remember. And he's known for having the almost Titus or non-Titus head sculpt, because it looked very, as you can see, looks quite similar to Titus. But he's called a Castus. There's a video of him on the channel if you want to check that out. And this is a different kind of stance, but you know, again, we'll just get an idea with that waist of how it would look if there was a human body in here. And it's the head. The heads are just too big, and the waist as well. I'm glad that they've got the proportions of the head to the body right in the new announcement. But this, yeah, it just doesn't look quite right. Let's finish off this arm. Out there. There you go. There he is. His tiny waist and his big head. So this is just a side-by-side comparison with the game model against each figure, and I've sized up each figure to be about the same height as the game model, with the Castus here looking really kind of wonky proportion-wise. With the Jump Pack Intercessor, the same, that small waist also looking out of proportion against the CG model. And here with Titus actually looking pretty similar to the CG model, which is good news. And this is all three figures compared in my prediction on what Titus would look like against these two figures that are already released. We'll see closer towards the end of the year if this prediction is correct, with Titus being 12.8 centimeters. So it's great that each figure will also come with a jetpack and leg boosters for flying. They also each have a power sword and bolters, etc. One disappointing thing is that there's no specific hand for gripping the rifle. You'll have to use one of the sort of grip hand or a trigger finger hands to actually grip the weapon in both hands, which is a shame because the Stern Guard veterans came with a specific hand for gripping the weapon. I was hoping that with this new release that would actually include that hand along with it too. Looking at the pauldrons, it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't look like it will be the current way, the system that we're currently getting with the plastic around the arm. I mean, you can't really see or tell, but changing the image here, it seems to me like we might be getting new pauldrons, and hopefully that they're done in the way that the new Terminators are done and the Primarchs. But we'll see when they're released later in the year, unless that information is given to us some point sooner. Anyway, these guys are off for pre-order now, so if you want your own, please check out the link in my description for my affiliates where you can get JoyToy products and money off, etc. If you like this video, click the thumbs up. For more content, subscribe, and I'll scale you later.